Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the LCS Challengers League. I'm Kangas, hopping in for Mazel to close out the final series of the day, but I'm still joined by Joshi. And Joshi, I gotta say, I'm trying to match Mazel's energy. He was showing a lot of buttons there, so I'm trying.
You want me to?
I'm trying it out. Am I looking good?
I can keep going down if you want. I think you might have more chest hair than I do.
I know I'm not him, but
all right. I can never be him.
Could never be him. All right, I think we're looking all right.
We're looking
got one
all right.
final series ahead of us today, LiT versus MU. I'm excited to take this one, even though it's not the heavyweight SmackDown from yesterday. MU did drop that series, so they are no longer tied for first place. But FlyQuest Challengers keep it going here as we catch up from what happened earlier in the day. One quick series from FlyQuest, and TLC actually coming back a little bit with their match with the bottom of the standings against Mirage. But we're looking at MU versus LiT ahead of us here. So what do we think about MU? Did you get a chance to catch up on the series from yesterday?
I've not yet had a chance to watch yesterday's games, but I heard it was a banger,
they were good.
And they were really, really high-level games. And I mean, with a number of players on those two teams who are effectively like LCS caliber, not particularly surprised. And as we get our Maryville players on screen, in particular, everybody knows UG and Spyrex have been LCS caliber players for a while, but I think the biggest surprise for a lot of people this year has been Scary Jerry, who has also stepped up significantly. I know a lot of the color casters, we did not rate this player particularly highly going into the year, but man, has he surprised us.
In terms of individual performances, everybody on Maryville has stepped up, but in terms of expectation to performances, I agree. Scary Jerry definitely exceeding the power level that we kind of set up this team. When you look at names like UG, Spyrex, Niles as well, we're like, okay, those are the main characters, but props to Scary Jerry having a fantastic split so far, and we're definitely going to keep our eyes on this player going forward. In the past, we've had, versions of this roster, even I'm looking just last year, where Scary Jerry is the guy who's saying, I do want to make the push for LCS. I want to go pro, even if it's through the collegiate scene and not all of my teammates have the same dream, have the same goal. We know Scary Jerry individually is working towards that. Yeah. So let's take a look at the opposition, though. On the other side of the rift, we will have LiT Esports. Now, this is a pretty fun story to follow for this team. They did promote into the NACL last year. And we're talking about Scary Jerry. Well, we ought to talk about Rockboom then, the rookie AD carry, who's also, I think, been impressing a lot considering the competition.
Rockboom, really big fan of this player as well, because when we had the two AD carries of Sajed and Rockboom coming into this season, they were the two players that I had the most excitement about. I thought that these two players could rebuild up the game, especially from the AD carry role, which we have not seen outside of Masu in a while. And I really want to see how effectively these two players will play up against each other between Rockboom and Scary Jerry, because both of them have been very strong so far.
And, of course, you see names like Dragoon as well. Dragoon's, he promoted twice. This guy had to do it 2 times to actually compete in the NACL. So, shout-outs to everybody on LiT. They had a slower start to their season, though. So, let's talk about implications as we're getting ready for pick and ban of game number 1 and kind of conceptualize where these two teams find themselves. LiT right now are a little low in the standings. They are currently sitting at 2-4 in series record and 5 in game record. So they are a series up over teams like Mirage, like the Skies, but they're only 1 game win ahead of Mirage. So they're kind of the one holding the line for the top 8, making it to playoffs, and more importantly, avoiding that promotion tournament.
Yeah, and crucially, it's also worth noting that with the way that tiebreakers work, series score obviously matters first, but then game scores do come second, and then head-to-head doesn't matter until you've already gotten past that point. And with only 3 series left, including the one that they're playing today, LiT needs every game as well as every series that they can get. And with Maryville, we're hoping they can get a game, but they're also playing Disguise and Team Liquid Challengers, and these are also just going to be basic hands checks that they are going to need to pass if they want to guarantee their way into playoffs.
It's not the hardest, final 3 matches. Maryville is going to be tough, obviously. Even though they just dropped their series to FlyQuest, it was close yesterday. So this one, I think LiT, their goal should be to pick up a game, because then they can at least be 2 games ahead of Mirage. Like you said, even if they don't have the head-to-head series record against Mirage, they can't have more games than them total. So I'm looking for LiT here. The series 1 would be awesome, but you're also happy if you just pick up the 1 win, because you're setting yourself up for those next 2 matches, which are going to be much easier in terms of power level. So as we get into game number 1, that's what I'm going to be paying attention to. It is Fearless Draft. So maybe game 1 isn't as important. If you drop it, I still don't think that they should be that stressed because you have that opportunity to limit the champ pool of your opponent.
As someone who used to play in a lot more tournaments and a lot more leagues and things like that, whenever I would go into a series where I knew I was a heavy underdog, my goal was not even necessarily to win a game. Like, I would always try to, but my biggest thing was like, they need to take us seriously, right? They actually need to beat us. And as long as we are making all the decisions we think are correct, you know, then we can go back and figure it out later. But if in the moment you felt good about your play, I feel like that's something that we can really look at. And part of what I was looking at with the first series, what we had between Mirage Alliance and Team Liquid Challengers, it didn't necessarily feel as though they were playing particularly clean League of Legends. Neither of them should be going away from that feeling, yes, we are now favored to make our way into playoffs, whereas I feel like LiT do still have the opportunity to do that if they just play their best.
I mean, you mentioned that for LiT. Let's talk about it from the other side then. I think that the story still rings true for Maryville. Obviously, winning means more for them because they are towards the top of the standing, so they want to keep that, but they want to dominate this. We just saw them lose a close series to FlyQuest. FlyQuest turns around and just smashes AoE, keeping their win streak alive. So I think if you're Maryville and you still want to prove, like, no, we're still, like, top dogs, a convincing win is very important for them. So as that's kind of the stakes for this match, let's catch up then on what's going on in the actual pick and ban. A lot of bans towards bot laners. Manui, or rather not Manui, I just see the Seraphine.
See the Seraphine,
Manui,
you know.
So, ingrained there. But we have the Seraphine, the Jhin, the Ashe, and the Varus all banned out with Azir and TF.
Yeah, this is definitely a pretty normal set of bans coming through. The biggest surprises, again, of course, the Jhin and the Seraphine, which are things that Rockboom has piloted in the past, and we know that it is still available. And the Kalista coming through, not a big surprise, even though this character did technically take a nerf to the rend damage on this patch. It doesn't change a lot of your breakpoints. You still auto-rend and you get all of your last hits. And so you actually kind of got a net buff because you got more movement on your jumps in ways that you wouldn't before. And so it's a really good opportunity for this Kalista to take over. Whoa!
It still does not necessarily known for being the big scaling champ, but you're reacting to that one, so let's talk about it.
Yep.
We got the Kindred locked in very early in the draft.
Now, Kindred is a very cool champion that I think if you are going to try and take down a team that is better than you, Kindred is one of the best champions for it because you have a very clear game plan. You go get some stacks, you find specific targets, and then you can accelerate the game very quickly with this champion. And it's the kind of thing where if Kindred gets ahead, there's not a lot of counterplay to it. It doesn't really matter what your composition is, and this Kindred creates a lot of pressure on the map with both teams knowing what your goals are going to be.
Yeah, when I see Kindred, I oftentimes think you're going to pair it with Enchanters in the support role, but we see the Senna locked in, so a lot of scaling from both of these two champs already. The later this game goes, the scarier it can get. But I'm curious what they're going to pair with it, because Kindred, in my opinion, always does best if it's enabled through something like a Karma in the mid lane. Maybe even like Karma, Lulu support. Melio's great with it. You get that double dip. But I don't know if we're going to have that now with that Senna. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But either way, it's going to be the Renata Glass plus the Talia combo locked in for MU.
Yeah. Now, I expressed my disdain for Talia. I don't think it's a great champion in general. But here, I actually think it has a lot of play just because, one, your Unraveled Earth shuts down a lot of the Kindred's mobility. And also, you can knock people out of the ultimate, the Lambs or Spy, and it is a good way to play around it. However, I am a little bit worried right now because Kindred needs to play really far forward. It's really tough to do that into Kalista, who you can lose a damage check to, into Renata, who helps you lose the damage check, into Leah, who's like, I'm going to leave at this point. And it's very tough for this Kindred to get anything later on if they are even going into team fights. So I really want to see some early aggression, like you said, perhaps with that Enchanter in the mid lane.
Well, I know that I believe she's still co-streaming. I want to hear you and Kelsey Moser debate Talia then, because I know she's a big Talia believer and fan of the champ. So
I think there's a lot of utility, but we also have disagreements about Tom Kench as well. So we'll have an opportunity to talk about it. Yeah, we do. It's pretty funny. So we will actually have an opportunity to talk about it later in the game. But this is definitely a position where now, with all of the bot lanes picked up, you now need to shift your attention towards the top lane in particular, where we will see Dragoon get a counter pick, and that's part of why the Mordekaiser ban actually makes a lot of sense. Niles has been one of the historical main characters of Maryville, but I would argue has significantly taken a back seat so far this split because his mid jungle AD carry have been so strong. He hasn't needed to make as many big plays.
And that means that they're probably going to play weak side top lane. Don't give Dragoon something that he can Dragoon smash on. The Darius ban is what I was expecting there, too. These are two of Dragoon's, notable, iconic champions, so we'll not get to pilot those. But like you're saying, we're expecting mid lane locked in here. If we think it's a Taliyah mid, we can try and counter that. Otherwise, if it's Taliyah jungle, then this will be a blind pick mid. Either way, they're going to have to lock something. So Hui would make sense. I do like it, but it is another weaker early game champ, so... I mean, at that point, we really are putting a lot of eggs in the Dragoon basket, in my opinion. The other lanes, bot and mid, are going to be mostly farming here.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, the Hui doesn't really provide a lot of support for the Kindred either. You have some crowd control, you have some movement speed buffs that you can give, but it's mostly just damage that comes out from Hui, especially early on in the game. And then, as the game continues to get later, you will get a lot down. But I really like this LeBlanc cover because it punishes a lot of things that Hui likes to do. And of course, Tristana, same thing. Big fan of this champion in general, and I really like it here because you knock people out of the ultimate. You put a lot of pressure on the mid lane early. The one thing that you need to be scared of is if you go aggressive at the wrong time, then Kizno is going to eat you alive.
That's a good point. I wasn't thinking about the Buster shot on top of that. So they have two, even the handshake, I guess, from Renata, you could think, if you're right at the edge. So they have a couple tools to get you out of that Lamb's Respite if needed. It's Aatrox blind for Niles. This has kind of been rising in popularity for a blind pick top laner. Let's see if Dragoon has an answer. Obviously not going to be one of his known champs in the Mordekaiser or the Darius, but we know that Dragoon's got a pretty deep champ pool. Gwen hover, Gwen locked in. Okay.
Interesting. I actually like this quite a bit. You can dodge out on a lot of the really important skill shots coming out from the side of Maryville, including the hostile takeover and the seismic shove, which are some of the most important things that you need to dodge out from crowd control. And so you create a lot of space. You should be able to beat the Aatrox pretty heftily later on, and is one of the best champions at abusing the fact that you are playing inside Lamb's Respite because you are untargetable and you're going to heal a lot throughout the course of your ultimate.
It's a good point, and it raises an interesting question. You teased it before, maybe disagreements you've had with other big brains in the scene. Does Tahm Kench count as primary engage?
That's a good question.
Is this an engaged champion? Because there's not a lot of other engage coming in from the side of LiT right now. It's going to be much more of a kite back style composition.
Yeah, I actually think Tahm Kench is better as engage on the new Rift than they were before, because the way that the walls exist near the blue buffs, where you're going to be fighting around the dragon and around the Baron, you now have better angles that you can take that are closer, and the biggest thing is you always need to be doing your engages from out of line of sight, where they do not see the start, they only see the fishy spinning later on into the actual use of the W. And so I do think it's better now, but there's also a lot of mobility on the side of Maryville, so it's going to be very tough for Tahm Kench to get in on targets that they want to be.
Well, MU's eyes will be on where the Tahm Kench come from. Our eyes are currently on Game 1 of the final series of Week 6 for the NACL. Maryville University dropping a series, their first series in the Super Heavyweight SmackDown yesterday, taking on LiT Esports, who are trying to hold the line and remain in the playoff conversation. More series losses makes that less likely, but they still control their destiny if they can win out on their last two matches here. This is a tough opponent. Let us know who you think is going to take it. MU in the chat if you believe in the collegiate representatives, or LiT in the chat if you think that the newest team to promote can make it happen.
Yeah. You got to get the double promoting Dragoons come through. But otherwise, not a whole lot.
Did it twice, two different teams?
Did it twice. This is the only one that he gets to play with. But but it is definitely a spot where I do have a lot of respect for this LiT organization so far, just because they have, they had this team. They were put in some awkward positions, and I do believe Sajed was playing for this team before Rockboo, if I remember correctly.
I know in the promotion tournament Rock Boom was playing, so
yeah,
I don't know
by the promotion tournament, I believe
back.
during the OQs. I can double check on that, but either way, it is.
You do have the internet.
We do have that information, but it is definitely a position. Yeah, so Jed was playing for them during the OQ 1 and 2, and then Rock Boom came in when there was a lot of people who got Thanos by Riot, shall we say?
Yeah. Maybe a list that came out.
Yeah. Either way,
you
though.
on that one?
I don't know. We'll get into it later. Either way, this is going to be one of the things where we saw some really cool pathing coming out from Chime in particular early on in the game, and this is also a spot where you can't really expect the Senna Tom Kench to win up against a double range early on, but it is also worth noting that unlike some of the other Sennas that we have seen today, this is a fasting Senna. This Senna is not going to be going for farm and is instead going to be allowing Plux to be much tankier later in the game and also get the kind of double scaling coming through. So neither of them are going to be quite as powerful as Rockboom would be by themselves as a normal AD carry, but they will both be more powerful than the two supports that you would normally expect.
Yeah, I'm just noticing now, okay, as Spyrax aggressive here. We've talked a little bit about the individual lane matchups. This Dragoon's also going for some proxy farming. I want to take some opportunity right now since it's a pretty slow early game. Actually, no, it's not slow. We'll get back to that one. We got an invade happening. Yuji, Zyko, and Scary Jerry are just walking straight at Kizno. Seismic shove back. Not where Kizmo wanted to be. And that's first blood of Scary Jerry. Now Spyrax jumping on messages, flashes over. Has the explosive shot. One final auto. There it is. Spyrax gets a solo kill.
Well, this is the downside of trying to play a character like Kindred, because you know you are very predictable. This is something that FlyQuest and Maryville have done so much work on, is preparing early games, having plans to punish different kinds of characters, and getting the extra priority in the bottom lane. They were expecting that, but a lot of people would just back away. They use it to bully their lane opponents, and then they also use it to bully the opposing jungle. Having Yuji pair up with these guys has been huge, and of course, I mean, Spyrax is pretty good. Like, I don't know if we need to say more. This is a tough lane matchup.
An honest solo kill.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
how we see Kizno, he comes out, his bot camps are gone. He tries to invade, there's no Raptors take. He's just going to kind of hover here and then maybe go for top camps. There's a lot of wasted time. So the aggression from the bot lane doesn't get them a kill down there, but it spills over into that jungle invade. And now Kizno's got to make something happen mid here. Spyrax does not have the flash, but should have the rocket jump and is fine. So Kizno's just going to have to walk all the way up. He's 3 camps behind Yuji right now.
Really tough. I mean, Talia does farm very quickly, but one of the things that Kizno did do there is build himself some priority, but there is a smite coming through. Okay. Good job to Kizno, at least getting something there.
If Kizno didn't get that, that would have been really rough, because not only is it another camp, but it's the stack, so you can actually start working towards that 4 stacks.
But
well, that was fun. Bye, Plux. Hope you do better next time. Scary Jerry, we're just diving under the turret. Why not? Let's go for it. Give him a double kill. There it is. 2 for 1 special. MU will trade up.
Honestly, seeing that play, that's something that we've seen some of the best teams in the LCK do that kind of things. Like, yeah, we will go in. I don't care if I trade a 1-for-1 underneath the turret. I'm going to deny all this farm from the enemy team. I'm going to deny all of this experience as well. And Plux and Rockboom losing all that is massive.
Ooh, Dragoon's not level 6. Niles hit it first. World Ender is popped, but he's struggling to get onto Dragoon with that ghost pop. So he actually will just walk away. I thought we were going to have a little more action there.
Yeah, if anybody knows how to play Gwen, it's Niles. I remember some of the crazy triple kills. Uh-oh.
Rockboom, a little too far forward here. Checking out the jungle, and unfortunately that one doesn't belong to you either, buddy. As Yuji is owning this rift, another invade into the bottom jungle. And that will net them a kill onto the Senna and as well a Dragon Take.
Well, I think it's fairly safe to say at this point that this is probably not the game that LiT are going to win. The fact that they're already down 2,500 gold and have no winning lanes is a bit of a problem.
We're 6 minutes in, Josh. How could you possibly call this?
It is, it is a very tough position where the only thing they really have is, I do think that Dragoon has mostly played better than Niles so far, but he doesn't have a large enough lead at this point to really justify, like, oh yeah, he's got an opportunity to carry this one. And it really does come down to some of the early game plans that Maryville have had, and I kind of go back to the, praising FlyQuest, Maryville. They have these plans, but they're also constantly willing to do things. And now, this kind of goes back to what you were saying at the beginning, where we were looking at these two teams. How cleanly, how dominantly can they win? So far, the answer is very.
They're just asserting their dominance in the bot lane, too. We're talking about Scary Jerry, how much he's impressed us so far. One of the most impressive things that he and Zyko have been able to do is stomp lanes. These two have gotten multiple 2v2 kills. We just saw them get a 2-for-1 kill down there, and now we're on to Kizno. Yuji still hanging out in the jungle. The third time here, almost the third kill here as well. Scary just flash Qs over the wall. Looking at Kizno, does not get the kill. Kizno does hit level 6 off of the minions, so now has the Lamster Spite, but it shows how willing MU are to just make action happen in the bot lane.
I don't even know if he lands it if like Kizno dies. You know?
Oh, I don't think so, yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing. But that's also one of the things we've heard most from Scary Jerry is that one of the biggest things that has helped him improve as a player this year is confidence. It's like, he's like, whoa. So that's the kind of thing where it's like, I wouldn't use it as summoner stall to like even dodge or anything. Like, I don't think this does anything, but oh my gosh, just nickel and diming, Flux and Rock Boom every single step of the way. Look at that. Look at all the Ren stacks. He does not quite reset it off of the minion, but still, they're going to be getting another plate here.
We're going for it, right? I mean, if I know Scare Jerry Zyko, I know they're running at him. Yeah, Rock Boom just leaves Plux. Now Plux is in trouble here. Already used the Grace Spin, and it goes down. Fate's Call lands the knockup onto Rock Boom. No summoner spells available. No chance of survival. MU pull off a 2v2 in the bot lane. Meanwhile, topside, Lamster Spite does go down. It looks like Niles gets out of there. Kizno's in trouble. Spyrax still alive. MU backup coming. UG here. Dragoon will fall, and MU can do no wrong. Double kill to Spyrax.
He's just winning all the hench checks.
He flashed forward. Okay, he will get one, but I'm pretty sure he falls for that. There it is. Niles grabs it. A 1-for-3 trade in the extended play.
You can't really even fault Yuji for that. He's like, there's no way this guy just goes in and dies, right? It's like, oh, I guess he does. My bad. So you just get so much off of this coming through. 5,000 gold lead, 9 minutes in. Maryville, like you said, they can do no wrong at this point. I also want to point out when we get a replay, I'm pretty sure Spyrax he put down a bomb and then was holding until after the Lamster Spite like ended, so he gets the maximum amount of damage off of it and doesn't waste the damage in the middle of the ultimate. But still, really cool stuff. And Zyko.
Okay, making a little mistake here, thinking he can clear out that vision. Hits an ultimate onto 3. Don't know if he makes it out of that one though. Slowed by the tongue lashes, and Kizno will get the kill credit, I believe. Yep, the last one to hit it. Shut down gold over to the Kindred.
That's why I like the new map better for Tom Kench, because it's easier for him to like hide in those different windows. But now we get to see this last play again up here in the top side. So Niles, I mean, it looks not great, but when the Lamster Spike comes through, watch Spyrax. Yeah, he's got the bomb sitting on Kizno, and he waits, right? And he gets a lot of damage. He doesn't quite get them out of the Lamster Spike, and even though he misses this jump over the wall, it's okay. It was all planned. He just needed to get enough distance from Dragoon.
Yeah. Yeah. And then here, messages roams a little late, and he flashes for it. And at that point, yeah, you're just guaranteed dead.
Yeah, it's been interesting. So this hasn't come out yet, but we do have some content with people talking about who they think the best player in the league is. And I know UG and Spyrax are both popular answers, as well as Quad and Surdy is kind of like the strongest players in the entire league. And now we'll see how they can do as messages and Kizno try and force them off.
Look at you, Josh, teasing some content.
Teasing content, whoa!
In the coming weeks here. I know. Sometimes you talk to players. Who would have thought?
Weird.
We see the grubs mostly stacked for MU. I believe they got. Actually, they got the dragon earlier. I believe it was the first 3 for Kizno, and then now they just got a 4th one. As
no flash.
Ports in. Gets onto messages. Is feared away. Difficult to just run straight at away. He can just fear you with the line ability. But let's see how much damage you can get on this turret. It should just be a plate. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, maybe not.
All right, good job to messages. We do still see Kizno up towards the top side, and oh my gosh. I looked at the 80 carry CS for a second, and I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Oh, right, it's Fasting Senate. We are chilling. Yep. I remember when everybody was like complaining about how 80 carry stats are always ruined by whenever this champion is meta.
Yep.
Yep.
LCS stats department loves this champ, let me tell you.
Yep. Either way, but we do have this turret going down, and really good job denying as much as they can, but they will be getting all 5 plates down here in the bottom side of the map. They're getting themselves into
That's
the
before
dragon.
12 minutes.
Yeah. He's just sitting there.
And stuff. Well, yeah, I mean, they didn't get all the grubs earlier, but that did not slow them from taking the structures here. And as well as that 2 stacking, so MU in a dominant position, and it comes down to just out-executing in that 2v2. If we're just going all the way back to that first play, that first invade, where Scary Jerry got the first blood, it was the power of the bot lane spilling over into an invade, and then
Yep.
2 other invades happening after that fact. So I love the way that MU play the map. Talking with Zyko ahead of the games, Mazel actually got a chance to sit down and asked him about, things like, what he's happy about that's going on, what he feels he's growing at. And one of the things he was mentioning and referencing was, leadership, shot calling, all that getting better, getting smoother with the MU team, as well as them all still being friends. So they just get along, even when things don't go their way. It's not like it's a bad environment that they find themselves in. They're getting more comfortable with the calls, and then they're also celebrating the calls when they work out together.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what we love here. Zyko's not a player we hear about a lot, partly because he's got so many other stars on this roster. But now Niles dodging out on the route is going to be okay. And
he's fine for right now in a 1v4, but how long can he survive? He doesn't have a lot of backup coming his way, and yeah, there is no backup. Right. He will just go down. Weaver's Wall will block LiT from walking in, but doesn't last for that long. So Niles goes down, and they don't get anything for it.
Yeah. That is, if we have any criticism of Maryville, it is that Niles just kind of does that sometimes. Just kind of like, here's a play. Oh, never mind. It was not a play. All right. Good luck. Do what you need to do. And so Maryville's come out gold neutral effectively on that play. Because Yuji's going to be taking a lot of damage. But now Kizno just running right into Zacko.
Ooh. Well, yeah, you were talking about the fact that Kindred has to play forward. A lot of defensive tools, but Base Call will knock up everybody. Scary Jerry doesn't quite have the damage under the turret. Rockboom can't answer it back, has to flash away from Seismic Shove. Oh, so close to shutting down Scary Jerry. That's a big shutdown.
They almost won. They almost triple killed that 2v3.
Yeah.
Like that.
That was Kindred ult and Tom Kenchel to survive.
Yeah. And honestly, gotta praise Zyko again for that hostile takeover, for catching people as they were leaving the Lamb's Respite, making sure that Flux and Rockboom were not going anywhere, and were actually doing damage to each other when they weren't on top of the Kindred ultimate. So everything just seems to go quite well. Scary Jerry playing really well with his limits, and messages, Oh
no, walking into the Tristana. Used abilities already to check the brush and did not get the vision he was hoping for. Spyrax with another solo kill.
4-0-1. I talk a lot about how,
Ooh, Zyko's able to flash away from the knockup, but gets out of Kizno! No Lamb's Respite from the earlier 2v3, so Scary Jerry cashes in. Looking for more onto Plux, can't auto-attack him because of the mist from Senna. The Raccoon gets Plux out of there, but what a turnaround from Zyko!
Yeah, good stuff. I love the flash, and Niles says, we're not done.
He's flashing forward onto Rockboom with the help of Yuji. Doesn't even need him, actually. That's a solo kill right there. Yuji did not get assist credit. MU are styling on LiT.
All right, over under 23 in 1 second.
Under.
Under? All right.
Under. I take under every day of the week. Look at this. We are taking our 4th turret, or hitting our 4th turret, at 15 minutes into the game. I know it's only 1 auto, but it counts. One of
the funny things that oftentimes happens when you are this far ahead is like, we are so far ahead, but we can't dive inhibitor turrets yet. And so then the game's like sometimes stalls out. And this game might be one of those where it's like, we are suffering from success a little bit. Either way, they get this Rip Herald, they will be able to get another structure. And the biggest thing for me is that Scary Jerry's insane.
And that should be fine right here. Drain tank onto the turret. Maybe he's not. Oh, Kizno, I guess was tanking turret that whole time. I didn't even see that final shot land onto him. Well, Niles gets the outplay in a 1v2 and finds the kill onto Kizno, who I assume just took one too many turret shots.
Yeah, and now he's got access to the bailout. And Rockboom sees Zyko, is like, nope, time to bail.
Yeah, Plux coming in might be enough to turn this. Root lands, but they're out of there. And okay, you're talking about the difficulty to dive inhibitor turrets. You know what can help with that? Specifically Tristana. We see her in the top lane right now. Hui really can't deal with this. Only going to be able to hit the wave, but Tristana will take that turret eventually. We have the Herald, so that will help take this turret. MU are going to have inhibitor turrets to start hitting soon, but maybe Yuji's going to be punished for it. Has to flash away.
It gets up the top lane turret. The fact that they try and pick up Yuji there, they get his flash, means his top lane turret is going to die to the demolish. And like you said, I mean, there's a huge...
5 turrets?
That's 5 turrets at 17 minutes. The fact that Tristana is not going to have a trough at all this game is crazy. Niles picking this up. For whatever reason, I thought Dragoon was taking this for sure. And so, yeah. I saw this shot, but it was hard, really tough to see.
That was.
Yeah.
I honestly, I feel like Kizno might have been confused as to why he was taking a turret as well. It seemed like the way they were playing that they expected Dragoon to have it, or that Kizno just thought that first leap would get him out of turret range.
Yeah.
Either way, the turret landed, so Niles gets the kill, and then everything else happens afterwards. We have one more tier 2 turret and one more dragon till soul is collected, and there's only 1730 that have passed in this game. This is blistering speed, and Dragoon's getting hunted. He has no idea.
He has no idea
that this is
happening. He just saw Callista.
There is no vision in LiT's bottom jungle. And
Dragoon's
just going to get completely surrounded right now. All right, here comes Zyko. Here comes Niles. Can Dragoon escape? No ghost available. He says the only way out is in. I'm going to have to try and take a fight. Maybe 1-for-1 onto Zyko, but with Fate's Call from Scary Jerry, there's just no shot. He gets over the wall, but Zyko still follows up and gets the kill credit.
Yeah. Yeah. They've lost control of their jungle. Unfortunately, Rockboom, even with the Umbral Glaive, is not able to like consistently clear out their own side of the jungle, and you don't need a lot of vision, honestly, when you are this far ahead, because it's like, oh, there's someone there. Okay, I guess I'll kill them, right? It is just an easy way for them to go through, and it has been interesting, right? Because we got to see FlyQuest playing, and they had a dominant victory, but it was not this fast.
Oh, this is MU trying to speed run. Okay, actually, we grab Scary Jerry. That's a big shutdown. Kizno's right behind. We got a threat. Oh, the red stacks from Scary Jerry did so much damage. Handshake out of Lamb's pipe, but we didn't hit Kizno. He still will fall to Spyrax. We lose Niles. The front line is down, but it's trading up for MU yet again. They get a 2-for-1 as Rockboom's going to walk forward into his death. Okay. We actually did complete the back from Scary Jerry, so MU are going to back out of there, but wow, I mean, even when LiT get that big of a play, they got Scary Jerry so far away from the team, they still can't kill him.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how much of Jerry diff this has been, right? I remember when there was a long conversation, and Choco in particular, who Scary Jerry has shouted out in a couple of different interviews, has talked about like, yeah, this guy, you know, biggest fan, is always chirping me on Twitter and Twitch chat, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, to be fair, like, Shogo didn't seem to have his number back in Collegiate, but this is definitely a huge difference.
I think Spyrax wins this. Actually, maybe not. With the needlework, flashes back into it. Dragoon has the ghost, and he's out of there. Wasn't even close, baby. Plux is going to fall on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, Scary Jerry doesn't get the kill credit, but did a lot of damage there. Yuji's the one that picks that one up. But yeah, to double down on that, the whole narrative of Scary Jerry, I don't know. I don't even think he's a top 5 collegiate AD carry, right? I saw a list somewhere. It had a couple of him.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
If you watch the games, it would appear that he's smashing everybody. So I don't know who to believe. I'm going to believe my eyes that Baron's going down right here, right now.
Yeah, and Niles still looking around. This is something that Maryville does better than FlyQuest, actually, is their control around objectives is second to none.
Oh! Niles! I like that flash. He's on to Kizno. You're going to go down. Yeah, we get the bear. We get everything here from MU.
Yuji.
Okay, Yuji goes down. That's a big shutdown to LiT. Rockboom messages can get out of there, but no more mana on messages. That means that Flux just teleported into his death, and Spyrax does eventually get the 1v1 against Dragoon. Without needlework, there's not a lot of damage that Gwen can actually pump out there. Wait, this Flux get away.
Oh, this counts as a solo kill for Niles.
Oh, he didn't see. He sees. Okay. Oh, but can he land anything? No. Okay, we're following. We're good. We're good. Niles gets him. Surely Niles gets him. There we go. 1-5. And dance on him. Why not? You earned it.
No, I got the solo kill. You got to improve those numbers. Those are rookie numbers.
No, we got to give it to Scary Jerry. We got to pet his stacks. Scary Jerry is not even in the top.
Oh, he canceled it
for most kills. Oh, wait, no. Oh, no, it's over to Niles. We're good. We're good. We're good. Niles already went. He already knew the escape plan. And I guess they wanted to give it to Scary Jerry. Sweet.
You know, I get it. I get it. Hey, goofy. That said, that took like 30 seconds. We're getting very close to the 2301.
I think they heard. The bet, and they were like, yeah, I know.
Let's
make sure that Kangas is wrong, as per usual.
He doesn't have enough hair to be right about this.
Not enough brain either, but,
you know, it is stored in the hair, right?
Usually,
it's like chicken eggs.
What? No, we're not going to talk about that one, Josh.
I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah, we'll let that be a deep cut for anybody who knows.
That is up to the audience to figure that one out.
So, 23 minutes, 1 second, I believe is what you said. We
Yep.
are pushing in. We've taken the first inhibitor turret. Baron buff acquired. Can MU close out with this push? Make me an honest man. Let's see. MU are getting onto Plux. Scary Jerry teasing with the idea of poking him down. That's the first inhibitor to fall. They have a cannon minion. They still have Baron for quite a while. Dragoon's not even here. Weaver's Wall is going to go out to try and block off Dragoon's entrance. There's a big hostile takeover. They got Hwei. Plux trying to front line, but he just does not have the health bar to do so. Lamster's fight will buy a lot of time, a lot of space. Zyko's in trouble. He's going to go down. Niles goes down as well. Later fighting back, trying to punish MU for overextending, getting over aggressive in the enemy. But the seismic stuff from Yuji's enough to turn the entire play. Triple kill to Yuji. Spyrex picks one up. No, in the game. All right, they're going to chase the kills. They're going for Plux instead. I'm not an honest man. It's not over before 23 minutes, but it's still over. MU make quick work of LiT in game number 1 in what cannot be described as anything but pure domination. From minute 1, this bot lane is nothing to scoff at, nothing to laugh at. They're the real deal.
Oh man, and Spyrex, he's doing your ARAM rules. He's making the minions end the game at the same time.
There it is.
23-30 when the Nexus exploded. 23-30. I don't know what exactly when they count it, but it's still like, man, that was actually really close. 23-01. They could have if that last engage had gone a little bit better. But man,
hey, UG saved it though. That almost went bad. They almost lost that fight, but that seismic shove onto 3 right at the end. If UG hadn't gone down, that might have been a pentakill angle right there. That could have been 2 pentas in 2 days here at the NACL. But with that said, we're going to be sending to a short break before we get ready for what seems like maybe just the final game of the day here in Week 6 based on how that first one went. So we'll see you after this.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
LCS players are some of the best that North America has to offer. But did they start out that way? Did they just wake up one morning and decide they were LCS ready? No, of course not. They all had to start somewhere. And that where, for most of the players that you've seen, was here, in the NACL. And while NACL stands for the North American Challengers League, it also stands for our core fundamental tenets, being new and old competitors learning. And that has been our fundamental belief since this league's inception, and has led to the success of many players who need no introduction. Their stories differ. Younger players looking to, or just starting to make their mark here in the LCS, or you have older, more experienced players trying to breathe new life in their careers after minor or significant dips. What matters is that NACL is not where stories end. It's where they begin. And you're wondering, how do they do this? How do these players grind up for the first time? How do they make a comeback after falling off? Well, for one thing, the NACL is on live patch, much like the LCS. On top of that, we have something that they don't, and that is Fearless Draft. Fearless Draft, if you don't know, is a setup where when a team picks a champion, that champion is no longer available for the rest of the series. Something that was implemented in hopes to improve champion flexibility in our players and strategic depth in our coaches. And it's something that our teams have already taken to quite well. All right, let's bring it back to the players. Even at this moment, they are grinding it out in the NACL, showing their stuff, honing their skills, in hopes that they can promote to the LCS and make it to that big stage. And we have names that you should be very excited about as an LCS viewer, because you may see them sooner than you think. And if you want to get ahead on that knowledge, and you want to get to know the future of the LCS, all you have to do is watch.